Hi, this is Infinity, and today I'm going to show you how I made the chicken costume and also my advice on the Colonel Sanders costume. So my little friend is already here, ready to model the head part, so I'll start with that. I wore a white wig in keeping with the white color of the chicken. This is just a regular cheap white wig that I bought on Temu. And the headpiece, I made this out of red fun foam. But the headpiece was actually part of a kit that came on Temu. Here's the little tail, which I don't even think I used this. It's horrible. Underneath here is a very miniaturized version of the chicken comb, which was so small. So I cut out red fun foam, and this was glued and then sewn on with thread. And then I made these things at the side that the chicken has. I don't know what the technical term is. So that was the head part of the chicken. Now for the main body part, I actually had two versions of it. The original version, which is not modeled, I made a skirt, which is basically just felt. Felt is great for Halloween because you don't have to hem it, it doesn't fray. And when you use Velcro, you don't need the opposing side of Velcro because Velcro does stick to felt. So the skirt was made just by wrapping some felt around my rump and then sewing in darts around the waist area. And the feathers got added by boas. So I bought a bunch of packets of boas either on eBay or Temu. And I started sewing them on. That got tedious. So then I switched over to white color safety pins. For the top, I basically made a top, again, out of felt, and then I started sewing on the boas with both thread and safety pins. And once I had this all going, I realized it wasn't comfortable at all. So we switched gears. Now this might not bother you. I think I might have had a sensitivity to the chemicals used in the feathers or something like that, so don't let that dissuade you. It was probably just me. Felt is very comfortable, and so are feathers for that matter, but there was something about it that didn't agree with me. So before you decide on your costume, make sure you have a white bodysuit to be a base. Any kind of bodysuit will be fine. And then I also recommend yellow tights for your legs. So what I wound up getting is I bought a pre-made skirt on Temu, and this skirt is not a felt base, but just a very lightweight, rather chintzy nylon fabric base. Very lightweight. I found that comfortable. And then for the top, I bought not one but two of these halters, I guess. I don't know what they're supposed to be, some kind of an embellishment, but I bought two of them, and I put one on the front of me and one on the back of me. That's not how it's normally used, but I bought two so that I could cover my back, and that was comfortable for me. If you want to, I think the right way to do it would be to use, felt garments was a base. Here's like a dress pattern that I used. I just like cut off the top of the dress pattern, and that's how I wound up with the top half of the costume. And again, you don't have to finish the edges or the seams. You don't have to hem. You don't have to use interfacing because felt never frays. So that was it for the main body parts. Now down here, if you're wondering why I have these buckets, the strap on here came off. I always like to incorporate a purse with my costume or something that can be used as a purse. So this was great to use as a purse, and they come in two sizes now. If you go to KFC, they actually come in two sizes. And they also had this bag, but it was transparent, so I didn't use that. And there's also the box. This would have made a cute purse / prop, but it was a little bit too thin. So I went with using a bucket, and I just sewed a strap on. And if you do that, I recommend just putting your belongings inside a sack. So if somebody opens the bucket thinking that you really have fried chicken in there, they won't be seeing your wallet and your cell phone and such. So once you have on all this, we have this, we have this. So for the feet, what I was wearing was, these are just cloth Mary Jane shoes, which I bought many years ago. I don't know if you could still buy them, I'm sure you can. And the chicken feet, which were also purchased on Temu, I sewed on to the strap of the shoe, because I wore it the first night and the whole thing was spinning around. There's really nothing to keep it in place, even if you do use the ankle straps. So I recommend sewing it on to something involved with your footwear, otherwise it's just going to spin around. Now this was not included in anything, but for my arms I bought, I guess they're called sleeveless gloves, and these were on Amazon. I've been using the same company for multiple, I think the name of the company is Satco or Satchco. I've been buying from the same company for several different costumes. They come plain, and then I bought this white feather trim that I stitched on by hand because it has to be able to stretch. And you just stitch that on by hand, like every 2 inches, put a stitch. And that adds a lot to the costume. And then white nail polish to keep with the color. I think that's pretty much it. Now for the makeup was primarily white and red. So I painted, you can see there's some red here got on the wig. I painted my eyebrows red. So don't use red lipstick. You have to buy this theatrical makeup, which is meant for your face. I used red eyebrows and red eyeliner, but I also had black eyeliner in the inside. And then my lips were painted in yellow to emulate the yellow beak, but then I outlined the yellow lips in red so you could see it. I did have some white makeup on my face, so my eyes were white and I had some white underneath, but as you can see I did not paint my entire face white. So this was my little makeup kit. So it was just really red, white, and yellow and black eyeliner that got used on my face. So for Colonel Sanders, you can actually buy a kit for Colonel Sanders. And it's not really high-end, but in the kit it comes with a lot of things. And here's the kit that we bought for Colonel Sanders. I do not see the jacket. Is this the jacket? Yes. So the jacket, again, very flimsy stuff. I did do some alterations on here. I added darting in both the front and the back, taking in the darting. I hemmed the sleeves to fit. I think I sewed the shoulder pads on because they weren't tacked down properly. So when you get something like this, do spend some time adjusting it to fit, because it's never going to fit properly no matter who's wearing it. The kit came with a shirt front, but we went ahead and used an actual white shirt. It came with a white wig and beard, which you can see was never open. Instead, we bought a can of white hairspray, and we just sprayed his hair white and also grew a beard and sprayed that white. But for Colonel Sanders, you could take this white makeup, like I see, you know, they call it clown makeup sometimes because that's how clowns get their face white. But you can take the white makeup and use that to paint the beard and to paint the eyebrows. It does stay on hair actually quite well. Even if your hair is black, it'll cover it up quite well. So the kit comes with the Colonel Sanders glasses, which I think were pretty good. The bow tie, this also needed help. I had to change the strap around it. I had to tack this down, so the bow tie did need a few minutes of sewing. Here's the white shirt that we used. The package did come with white pants, but we used our own white pants because, again, very chintzy fabric. That's just a white t-shirt that was underneath. These white shoes are very worn out because we didn't have any white shoes, so we just spray painted a pair of dark shoes white, and then after wearing them a few times they began to crack. But during the time it was used, it worked out just fine. The kit The Colonel Sanders kit also came with a very chintzy cane, which is pretty chintzy. So again, we didn't use that. We used a cane that I had for many years. I actually used this a few years back with my steampunk outfit. This was a much more attractive walking stick. So if you have something better, use it. And if you don't have something better, then you could use what comes in the kit. I think I covered everything. Yep, is that everything? Okay, that's everything. So if you try this, have fun.